Hi, welcome to Canva Practice 8. This is Wendy. I will try to be short because I so many times start this thing and record of myself, so it's very confusing. And I don't even know what I said in my original recordings that would have made sense, but with no further ado, let's just go on. I'm just made out of toilet paper rolls. Mind you, that I did this several years ago and have continued learning since I made it, and I have better ideas of how I could have done things than I did now. I think that I used paint markers to color this. The metallic ones, I guess I can't reach the ones I have back there. It's so long ago, I'm not really sure. And I had a die cut that was set of die cuts that was under the sea related, and a few stamps that I found at a thrift store that were also sea related. I don't think I have those anymore. That actual mermaid was somehow traced from a piece of jewelry. I realize now it would be so much more interesting to be air dried clayed, um, a low relief, but either that or this cutout could be stacked upon pieces of paper, duplicate copies. That would make it more interesting. The thing that this is of course one of those notebook binders that you have at school. Well, I didn't know about all these other tools, and I just had some beads that were hanging around. I don't know where I got them. The so called rope was actually a shawl that had been frayed, and so I had taken it apart and used it because I thought it would be interesting for a kid to see shiny and interesting things. The reason I would want that is I uh, was going to return to work for at least 9 months to try Work Incentive Act, which used to exist, and I was hoping to get a school that had a nautical theme. I didn't get it though, but I made this anyway, brought it with me, and the first recess, some kids saw me just looking at it. Of course, it brought them over, and that's how I made started building rapport with that student and other ones. I learned how to make the spine for this toilet paper roll book from YouTube, of course. If it's on YouTube, it must be true. But anyway, you can learn lots of things on YouTube. I now know a way I could have done it better, but it is starting to break after several years because it was used so often. The method I used would not be good for long term. The first two pages of this little booklet open up to simply look like maybe some kind of chest and a sign that says me. But that's not all there is there. Remember, this is supposed to be a place where a kid could journal or just find something fascinating. The theme of the booklet is actually self esteem. Anyway, underneath the luggage looking piece right here is a saying. It says, each day is a treasure chest filled with limitless opportunities. I think I had meant for that to be a treasure chest, but found it difficult to find a right graphic. And then it asks, what's in your chest? And then I had little cutouts from a paper puncher to emulate gold. So then if you were speaking with a kid, you can ask, so what are treasures that you think you have in your life? What qualities do you have? Or I mean, you can, depending on the age of the kid, you can come up with all kinds of things. On the opposite page beneath me is another flip up pocket, I guess you could call it. I didn't make it a full pocket because I have troubles gluing things. At any rate, it is a flip up just like that treasure chest once was, and it's done with magnetic strips that you can cut to whatever size you need. And the instructions for this one are write an acrostic poem about yourself. It is a poem in which each letter of your name is written vertically and then horizontally. You pick the first word that comes to mind about yourself that starts with the letter to the left. And that leaves a lot of room for discussion, all kinds of things. On the bottom part of that, it says, pick words that mean something about you or that you can relate to. I don't have the word can. We may discuss it. In between each toilet paper roll is a pull-out, and they are indexed with circles that are covered in probably candy wrapper. Got the little sayings from the internet. I assume that they're copyright free, but anyway, I'm not worried about them being blurred here, but just as an example, in case it is copyrighted. In this one, they're all nautical themed. It says, in the waves of change, we find our true direction. Of course, that quote might not work for elementary school, younger kid, but for older ones it would. And yeah, even middle schoolers find projects and things and crafts interesting, especially if they're colorful. On the opposite side of that saying, or meme, or whatever it is, if we ever got it, is another saying which is difficult for me to read even when it's right in front of me. But anyway, it says, I believe, stay the course and watch the beauty of life unfold before you. Again, these are sayings that would instill, not instill, but encourage conversation, discussion, or just seem interesting. It was too hard to see the thumbprints of all my photos that I needed to upload to show the inserts, the 6 inserts that we have, because we used six empty rolls of toilet paper. So we needed to have a meme on each side of each of those 6 pullouts for a total of 12 memes or sayings or graphics or poems or whatever. By the way, those pullouts are about the size of an ATP sized cod. I'm not really covering anything important. I pretty much just said what I have written. Here's a picture that basically shows that the toilet paper roll is more or less used as a sleeve for those pullouts. And I have uh, basically ATP cards that say things like, think like a mermaid, see life's beautiful, remain flexible, keep buoyant, go with the flow, avoid peer pressure, peer spelled like BIER, be sure of yourself, SHORE. Another one, it doesn't matter who believes in you as long as you believe in you. And then it has a mermaid tail. I already said the treasure one. These are really hard for me to read, so excuse me if I sound like I'm not very good a reader. I am a bad seer. How about that? Dream higher than the sky and deeper than the ocean. Of course, it has nautical looking things. Life is a treasure and the chest is full. Kindness is a treasure to share. For where your treasure is, there will your heart also be. A picture of a steering wheel for some kind of quote about navigation. Just a small picture of a mermaid swimming. Just keep on swimming. Life happens. Adapt, embrace, change, and make the most of everything that comes your way. Just like a mermaid does when she takes her tail off and comes to land, she has her legs. Who says that my dreams have to stay just my dreams? And that's an Ariel quote from The Little Mermaid. Excuse me that I have a speech impediment. It's a symptom, a residual symptom of a stroke I had about 6 years ago. Be captain of your own ship. Your subconscious mind is your crew. And then the rest of it's way too small for me to see what it is, let alone trying to make larger screen and magnify things with my computer freezing up a lot. And apparently there's a book called The Mermaid Who Became a Captain. I just had it. the print of that particular cover of the book. In the storms of life, keep your bearings by staying attuned to the true north. You will stay the course even when navigating through obstacles and taking temporary deviations from your route. I think what happened is I started just a mermaid ATP collection, and then I decided that it was a nautical one. So some of these aren't specifically mermaid, but you get the idea. We are a treasure chest with more jewels inside than we can imagine. That's a quote by someone whose first name I can't pronounce, Ifanil Enoch Onuha. So much for my Hawaiian or Japanese or something. Another one, friends are like seashells collected and treasured. And then there's a picture of a really good picture of a cute mermaid hugging a seahorse. Another one, a mermaid sitting on a rock. I think that's the one that showed the last screen. Stop waiting for your ship to come in. Swim out to meet it. Another one, family is the anchor that holds us through life's storms. Another one, I have a mermaid soul. Who finds a faithful friend finds a treasure. I am captain of my ship and master of my fate. I am sure that someone famous said that, but I don't know who it is. In the waves of change, we find our true direction. A picture of a book cover from Captain Jack and the Mermaid by Meg Davis. When we allow ourselves to adapt to different situations, life is easier. That's a quote by someone named Catherine. Well, I have no idea what her last name is. It's too hard to see. Uh, a starfish. Not all. Hmm, not all stars belong to the sky. Adaptation is a profound process. It means you figure out how to thrive in the world. Well, that makes sense for a mermaid losing her tail, right? Just be yourself. Let people see the real, imperfect, flawed, quirky, weird, beautiful, and magical person that you are. Or be yourself. Everyone else is already taken. Be willing to change because life won't stay the same. These are true life stories that even affect us as adults, right? And some of these things, if you did have it with a kid, would need to be reworded to be age appropriate, or you go over it to make sure it's understood. When things change inside you, things change around you. So the mermaid being not a metaphor. What is that? I forgot the word in English, where it basically gives the idea of something else. Can you believe I forgot what that's called? It's not a metaphor, and it's not called symbolism. It's something else. Anyway, some changes look negative on the surface, but you will soon realize that space is being created in your life for something new to emerge. It's by Eckhart Tolle. Someone named Pedro Capo said, we should be in constant evolution and adapt to the new without ever losing our essence or our integrity. And then there's some more pictures of various nautical things. I'm switching between different windows, so it was hard to see what was going on. Okay, these two toilet paper rolls open up to form left and right pockets where you can put memo papers for the uh, student to write their own things. And I wasn't unable to glue any flaps under there. I didn't have the dexterity to do it. They're from a cute undersea a set of die cuts. So attempting to make this as interactive as possible with the same idea that you could make an interactive bulletin board doing the same thing with pullouts and flip ups and flip downs and turnarounds and all that kind of stuff. Obviously, I'm talking about school stuff because I somehow work or did work in the field. that was exhausting. 15 minutes probably took 2 hours. So when you're watching somebody YouTube and you sit there live with YouTube and TikTok and some other platform at the same time, and they have beautifully uh, presented images and also are live in the whole screen themselves, and they answer questions, and they are articulate, know how much expertise they have to be able to put it all together. So I am learning, but oh my goodness, this is a process. It is easier for me, for example, just to post live, like if I had done this whole book this way. But I have dexterity problems, so holding the book up and showing how to do pull-outs, or I had to pull them out actually, would be difficult, but faster. I still would have the speech problems and probably also have the tendency to go back and forth like this, as well as saying, so anyway, those things that, oh, I just said, can you believe that? Good thing I don't have an counter like they do for Toastmasters. I appreciate those few of you people who are looking at this, because I don't really expect anyone to. If you have feedback for a stroke survivor of things that may help, that would be useful. If you just want to talk about how my hair looks bad and I wore the same color shirt the other day, or in fact recorded with the same shirt last week, that would not be useful. Until tomorrow, I'll talk to you later. And I am only, I started with and. I am doing this for 30 days as an incentive to keep doing it, accountability to myself, to learn something. I am a lifetime learner, and I hope you are too. I'm trying to learn several things at one time, or refresh memory on things. And it's easier said than done. So when you speak to people like Don Lemon and Victoria Designs, who's absolutely treasure books from Australia, I think, when you see their recordings, know how much expertise goes into that and thinking. You have a nice night. Bye.